Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this exciting event hosted by MassRobotics and our esteemed partners FESTO, Mitsubishi Electric, Novanta, and MITRE. I'm Juan Necochea. I'm Director of Strategic Partnerships at MassRobotics, and I'm thrilled to be your guide today as we unveil the incredible developments in the healthcare robotics sector that Startup Spring. For those who may not be familiar with MassRobotics is an independent nonprofit hub dedicated to bringing robotic initiatives, investments, and companies to life. We're based in Massachusetts, but we have progressively become a reference to startups from around the world. We actively support 85 robotics, automation, and AI startups in diverse and exciting industries like manufacturing, industrial robotics, defense, security, service robotics, clean tech, AVs or autonomous vehicles, ag tech, education, research, entertainment, and of course, healthcare. With the support of our 40 corporate partners, we run a 50,000 square feet of robotic space lab space, where our resident startups can develop their scaling journey to exciting new markets. Among our many initiatives in support of these innovators, we explore different verticals from the robotic space and bring our community and network together to address the potential or underrepresentation of these markets, technologies, or innovative needs. We support our partners in developing working groups around these topics. Today, we are diving into one of our working groups, specifically our Healthcare Robotics Working Group, which plays a pivotal role in fostering innovation in healthcare industry. Our Healthcare Robotics Working Group is a dynamic community where brilliant minds converge to drive advancements in healthcare through robotics, and many of you are joining us here today. So today we have about 150 volunteers in this group. So please reach out to me if you would like to be added, or if you don't know if you're part of it, either way. It's a collaborative effort along with our valued partners that has paved the way for groundbreaking initiatives like, for example, this Healthcare Robotics Startup Catalyst program. So let's dive into that. The program is now on its third year. It's designed to support early-stage robotic startups, providing them with guidance, connections, and resources they need to thrive in the challenging healthcare market. We're proud to have partnered with industry leaders such as FESTO, Mitsubishi Electric, Novanta, and MITRE to make this program possible. Together, we've received an overwhelming response with over 40 applicants from around the globe, and it was a very difficult process to select the top 8 startups to comprise this year's cohort. We are particularly thankful also to our newly formalized medical advisory board for their input and support through the selection process, but as well as their support throughout the program. So Dr. Kamran Mansoor, Dr. Michael Rohr, and Dr. Gopi Nageshwaram, they were a very important part of the selection process. This initiative started 3 years ago when FESTO's leaders Alphonse Rick and Nusa Yaqub suggested to the robotics community that we all needed to step up and participate actively in solutions for the COVID pandemic. Their spark has now snowballed into 20 startups in the field of healthcare robotics being supported, mentored, and/or financed through their scaling journey. On our second year, our partners Mitsubishi Electric, Novanta, and MITRE joined our efforts, and we have escalated the reach of the program across the world, gaining increasing insights into the needs of early-stage robotic companies tackling the hard and pressing challenges of the healthcare sector. This is the Healthcare Robotics Startup Catalyst Cohort number 3. We've carefully selected 8 startups that embody innovation and have the potential to reshape the future of healthcare robotics. Each of these startups has been matched with one or more of our partners, specifically executives that will develop a mentor-mentee relationship, supporting them throughout the program. These relationships have proven to last past the end of the program, and our community also has presented an overwhelming support, responding to the startup needs in an unexpected and exciting ways. We invite all of you here today to do so again. Throughout the rest of our presentation, each of these startups will have a brief 4-minute moment in the spotlight, presenting their cutting-edge technologies, challenges, and growth objectives. Importantly, they all have specific asks. As a robotics hub, MassRobotics and our partners are here to provide the necessary support, but as a working group and greater healthcare robotics community, we invite you to support these innovators in their journey. Feel free to reach out to me directly or connect with the startups themselves to explore collaborative opportunities. So let's get ready to be inspired and engaged. Let's kick off this journey into the future of healthcare robotics. So without further delay, let me queue up the first presentation. So first up is REEV.
Across the globe, 50 million stroke survivors face daily challenges just walking. Strokes are the top cause of adult disability, and as our world ages, we are expecting about 1 in 4 of us to be affected in our lifetimes. Let's talk about what happens after a stroke. Typically, there is a short period of therapy in the hospital, but after that, it's a long-term reliance on things like crutches, orthoses, and rollators. But these devices haven't changed much over the years. They are good for preventing falls, but they don't actively help with basic movements, like standing up, sitting down, climbing stairs, or just walking around freely. That's where REEV comes in. We are building the future of walking assistance with the first ever active custom orthosis. Think of it as power steering for your knees. We have developed a patented, lightweight knee motorization that turns regular knee braces into active dynamic supports. It's like adding a new muscle. And we don't stop there. We are integrating motion analysis and AI to customize our robotic braces to each person's unique needs, offering unmatched comfort. Our product-driven isn't just a device. It's about giving millions of people with mobility challenges the chance to lead active, normal lives again. Think simple joys like shopping, walking a dog, or just quality family time. For many, driven is freedom from limitations that have held them back. So how do we generate money? We are tapping into existing reimbursement systems. We plan to offer our advanced knee braces to outpatient clinics at $15,000 per device. These clinics then can provide active braces to payers like Medicare at $34,000, boosting their profits by 10x while offering something far superior to standard passive braces. Next slide. And we are so excited to announce that 36 clinics across the US are interested in joining our 2026 launch. And these clinics alone gather 2,000 patients a year with a potential annual revenue of $30 million. We are 22 exoskeleton experts in Boston and France, all united through one mission. My co-founder and I are so proud to have built an exceptionally driven group of technical experts and physicians in just 2 years. We hold end-to-end control of our technological innovations, allowing us to control our IP. And for scaling up globally, we have partnered with only the best. We have teamed up with Ciurana, a leading provider of medical braces worldwide, to motorize their braces. And our preclinical trials are happening right now with MIT in Boston, and thanks to MassRobotics and FESTO, we are gearing up for a strong US market entry. And we are looking at a 2026 market launch post-FDA approval in 2025. With our partners, we are set to roll out 25,000 units annually, aiming for break-even by 2027. And in our latest round after our Techstars acceleration, we have closed a $1.3 million funding round, which got our first 10 driven units off the ground. And we are now seeking an additional $1.5 million. This will support our clinical strategy in the US, and we are inviting you to join our investors on this exciting journey. So please reach out to amaury.ciurana@reev.care or connect through MassRobotics. Let's reinvent personal mobility together. Thank you.
We have Limber. Rachael, would you unmute and come on camera, please?
Limber Technologies is the first tech-enabled fall prevention service for people with impaired mobility. And there's something about me that you'd see if we were in the room together, but since we're not, I'm going to tell you. I have impaired mobility. 20 years ago, I fell and broke my spine. And ever since, I've used either a walker or wheelchair or crutches to get around. So my personal experiences have given me an early insight into what is a huge problem, and that's falls. 1 in 4 older adults fall every year. This means 3 million ER visits, 800,000 hospitalizations, and insurers spend more than $50 billion every year just on their costs. And most of these costs come from a particular group of people, people who have impaired mobility, because if you use an assistive mobility device to get around, you're more than 10 times more likely to fall. Now, I saw the scale of the problem firsthand when I was working for the UK's National Health Service. I tried to address it with policy when I worked in government, but the devices and therapies that we use to prevent falls amongst people with impaired mobility just haven't changed over the last 100 years, as you can see. So when I was doing my MBA at Stanford, I saw the impact that data-driven connected care was having on other chronic conditions, and I founded Limber, the first tech-enabled fall prevention service for folks with impaired mobility. We're putting sensors in our smart assistive mobility devices that track fall risk through balance, gait, and behavior. And clinicians use this data to monitor their patients remotely and provide data-driven or precision interventions. Our model of care isn't something new. It's already transformed the management of other chronic conditions like diabetes and heart disease, whilst making billion-dollar companies like Amaury, Livongo, and some of these others you can see on this slide in the process. We're just applying their approach to fall prevention. So you might wonder, why has no one done this before? Well, because Medicare only introduced reimbursement codes that allow providers to get paid for remotely monitoring fall risk in 2022. So there are three things I'd like you to remember about our business model. One, our product is already fully reimbursable by Medicare. Two, 90% of our revenue is coming from the data and services that we provide. Three, we're targeting really high need individuals who need a high volume of care. So that means we can generate more than $4,000 per patient per year, which means that we will achieve $100 million ARR by just serving 23,000 patients. And we have a phenomenal team to build a billion-dollar company. I'm joined by Stephanie Tykes, who leads our tech. She has a PhD in electrical engineering and AI from Stanford. She optimized gait recognition algorithms for a biometric startup, and she's a certified personal trainer. And our advisors include Stanford professors and world experts in physical therapy and rehabilitation, low-cost medical device design, and physical therapy administration. So to date, we've raised just over $1 million from institutional VCs, and with support partners like StarTax, the Shirley Ryan Ability Lab at Northwestern University, we've created an MVP, and that's a smart walker with sensors inside and a very low-cost sensor architecture that continuously and passively monitors 14 key fall risk metrics. So this is the walker. We've tested our algorithms on 60 volunteers, and we have clinically significant accuracy of more than 95%. In case you're curious, here are some of our devices. They work, but they are not very pretty yet. And next slide, please. And you can also see some screenshots from our app. So the advantage we have is our technology. And that's because no other product out there can continuously and passively monitor fall risk with clinically significant precision. And we are so excited to be part of the Catalyst program. We'd love your support. We have two goals. One is to develop clinical partnerships, and the second is to raise investment for a clinical pilot. Thank you.
Cobionix, are you on deck?
Cobionix is tackling the critical multi-trillion-dollar labor shortage problem facing healthcare providers. We're securing Series A funding to bridge our solutions to U.S. healthcare providers in 2025. The challenge is clear. Healthcare professionals are overburdened, patient queues grow, and hospitals exceed capacity. Our mission here at Cobionix is to equip these institutions with robotic tools that allow them to maintain quality of care under value-based financial models, to do more with less. Envisioning the future, we're creating a robotic assistant capable of handling the spectrum of medical tasks from interventional procedures to bedside assistance, starting off with the essential field of medical ultrasound. Introducing Cody, our specialized healthcare cobot, offering unmatched precision and safety in medical procedures and tasks, complemented by advanced diagnostics, camera integration, and AI-driven patient care and engagement systems built within. With strategic alliances through the Healthcare Catalyst program and guidance and advisory from giants Novanta and FESTO, we're on the verge of deploying Cody for pilot programs and commercial use in hospitals within the United States and Canada. Our initial focus is on sonography, where there's a dire need due to the high injury rates of staff shortages. Cody is set to alleviate these issues, potentially saving the healthcare industry billions annually in lost revenue. Trained to mimic the skilled sonographer, Cody's prepared to take on ultrasound scans autonomously, offering a glimpse into the future of medical imaging. We're paving the way to autonomous medical technology within the theater, with Coty initiating a telerobotic strategy that reduces the regulatory hurdles, fosters AI proficiency, while also securing early revenue streams. With Coty, we can reduce physical strain on sonographers and ensure better service for patients and healthcare providers, leading to financial savings and enhanced quality of care. Coty's deployment model is service-based, offering hospitals a cost-effective solution and with consistent revenue potential, with the option for regular updates via over-the-air software enhancements. With a primary market of $6.3 billion in ultrasound services and significant early adopter interest, Coty's set to redefine the role of sonography with our KOL trials and pilot initiatives. Our ambitions extend beyond ultrasound to a variety of medical applications and tasks, with Coty positioned as the versatile medical assistant of tomorrow. There's a gap in the market for a robot that is both autonomous and can perform multiple jobs within our healthcare institutions. Coty is fundamentally different from existing solutions in the market, as we are building a scalable medical cobot solution capable of performing a variety of procedures and tasks, an all-encompassing autonomous cobot ready to perform multiple healthcare roles. When it comes to exit strategy, we can see substantial value generated pre-revenue and pre-FDA. Cobionix is well on track to unlock value generating milestones with our pilot data and breakthrough status this year. Cobionix is led by a management team with a solid history of successful exits and decades of experience in robotics and AI, supported by advisors well-versed in bringing medical robots to the market. We have a vibrant community here at MassRobotics, and I would love the opportunity to connect with you and discuss how our paths might align. Key priorities this year are to build strategic partnerships with investors in advance of our Series A funding. Additionally, we're also very interested in initiating dialogues and building relationships with hospital administrators and clinicians to explore how a Coty pilot evaluation might look like in your hospital. To summarize, we're starting off with diagnostic ultrasound to make a significant market impact next year, carving out a pathway into a solution that will fundamentally change how we deliver care, not just in ultrasound, but in every aspect of care delivery. Thank you.
Up next will be AIM.
Everyone, thanks for having me. I'm Greg Fischer, the CEO and founder of AIM Medical Robotics. We're bringing to market our first product, which allows real-time MRI imaging during stereotactic neurosurgery procedures. This is based on over 15 years and $15 million of NIH-funded research that I led in a past life as a faculty member at WPI before making the jump full-time as CEO of AIM Medical Robotics. And before we get started, I just wanted to point out, looking at the robot that we're showing in the figure here, we're not talking about large gantry-like robots or industrial robots on carts. We're talking about robotic platforms that are very familiar to the surgeons doing these types of neurosurgery procedures. So many neurosurgery procedures require really precise delivery of needle-like instruments, and this includes neurostimulation, such as DBS for Parkinson's disease, thermal ablation and biopsies for brain cancers, and all these new and emerging applications where you need targeted injections of gene therapies, cell therapies, viral oncolytics, and a host of other applications. The problem is all of these approaches are really using decades-old technology. In fact, the majority of them are still done using big metal frames that haven't really changed since the 1950s. And even if you look at the newer systems that are talking about robotics or frameless tracking systems, they're all tracking relative to the skull. And what happens, what can happen and what does happen, is the soft tissue within the brain actually shifts and moves during procedures. And by way of example, if we look at deep brain stimulation for Parkinson's disease, it's been reported that there's 34% of these procedures either need to have revisions and or removals of these electrodes, and a huge percentage of those are due to initial misplacements of these leads. And due to the fact that patients don't want to have to go back for these procedures, they don't want long procedures while they're awake getting procedures, only about 15% of this market of eligible patients is actually penetrated. So there's a huge opportunity to overcome this patient hesitancy and tremendously increase the market. So AIM's looking to revolutionize neurosurgery. Our focus is, can we guarantee every single time that surgeons reach their targets, soft tissue targets in the brain the first time, every time? And our approach is coupling real-time MRI during surgery in the bore with the scanner with unique robots that we've developed that allow safe operation of these robots inside the scanner without affecting image quality. As I mentioned, this is based on a substantial amount of previous effort funded through the NIH. We've demonstrated a prior version of this system in prostate applications at the Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. We have a strong patent portfolio on this, and we have advanced prototypes getting ready to begin clinical trials. So the focus of our effort right now is to raise a $5 million Series A round. This is following on previous $3.4 million seed funding we've brought in to take this system and really hit that key clinical milestone of first in human trials. We're gearing up to do these within the MGB system here in Boston later this year, and then working our way through commercialization. And we have a very clear pathway to FDA approval through the Class 2 510K device targeting mid 2025. We've put together a stellar leadership team. I'd like to call out Jonathan Sakier, who's been in surgical robotics since there was surgical robotics, as one of the founders of Computer Motion, which ultimately merged into Intuitive Surgical. And Dr. Julie Politzis, who's currently the president of the North American Neuromodulation Society. And she's been with us since day one and co-founder of the company, and guaranteeing we have a strong clinical advisory board and we're on the right track here. As I noted, we're doing deep brain stimulation as our clinical application that we're targeting first, but this is a platform technology that can support all different neuro procedures as well as beyond. In Parkinson's alone, there's about 120,000 eligible patients, which would give us a $350 million market cap just in the US, just for Parkinson's. And you can see that number is dwarfed by a lot of the other applications, including epilepsy that's coming along. We've demonstrated this fully in the MRI system, as well as in the operating room in preclinical cadaver studies. And as I said, we're gearing up for human trials. And just wanted to really emphasize, look, we can guarantee you always hit the target. We can have streamlined workflows. We can make this so it's very consistent procedures that can expand where these types of procedures can be done. And we're really targeting to be the market leader in a field where there's almost no market leader today, which is MRI-guided robotic surgery. So thank you very much. I really appreciate this. You can reach out to me. We're raising this $5 million Series A right now. We have really clear channel partners, both on the imaging side, the navigation side, and the therapy delivery side. We've had discussions with all of these companies. We're actively recruiting a Series A of $5 million to bring this to market. And the idea behind this is we hit this clinical milestone of first in human, build the confidence in this system, and then bring on board all the strategics that are interested in taking this and bringing it through the commercialization process and launching in mid 2025. Thank you very much.
Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Jay. I'm the founder and CEO of Able Innovation. First of all, I'll ask you to excuse my attire. I'm actually at a wedding out in India, and I'm just taking this. I had to do it. So my journey began when I was quite young, and I used to volunteer at long-term care facilities where my mom used to work. And while there, I witnessed her perform the back-breaking task of transfers and injure herself. She was lifting and moving residents between beds, wheelchairs, and she dislocated her shoulder. This journey, by no means, is unique to her and happens way too many times in healthcare every single day. Very specifically, the task that I'm talking about is that of lateral supine transfers, which is moving individuals from a lying down state to a lying down state. Each of these transfers requires anywhere between 2 to 8 individuals exerting back-breaking effort, and it's a major contributing factor as to why healthcare spends on injuries are over $20 billion per year, why so many nurses are getting injured and leaving the profession early in their careers. It also results in clinical inefficiency and a very poor and undignified patient experience. In order to solve this problem, we've developed the first of its kind robotic patient transfer device called the Alta platform, which could conduct these same transfers at the push of a button. Now, the way our device works is it looks like a bed, but it's so much more. All the nurse has to do is align our device next to the patient's bed. It could be a CT table, it could be an X-ray table, it doesn't matter, our device takes care of it, and press go. A compact conveyor belt type platform then extends out of the device and then touches the surface, figures out the type of surface it is, and then adjusts the algorithm accordingly. It begins rolling underneath the patient in a manner that doesn't exert any shear or normal forces. Essentially, we achieve zero relative velocity with the patient's skin, which results in a very dignified, comfortable experience for the patient, and for the healthcare staff is transformational, as today they have to assemble a team up to 8 individuals at a time with acute staff shortages. So it can transform the workflows immensely for them and increase clinical efficiencies. And most importantly, for the patient, it's a very dignified experience and improves the quality of care. So today we're focused on the lateral supine transfer market. We're focusing on diagnostic imaging, complex acute care patient profiles. We're going to be moving into the bariatric space. We will be enabling autonomous navigation of our device, enabling just-in-time delivery of patients, might we dare, all the way through to additional modalities such as bed to wheelchair transfers at home where we can transform how and where individuals age. So the reason healthcare facilities are extremely interested in our technology is that first and foremost, we allow them to do more with less, and staff retention is a key priority. We also enhance clinical efficiency. Think of a busy CT scan suite where it might take 10, 15 minutes to transfer a patient who comes in on a stretcher. And of course, we enhance the patient experience. The unit economics are also quite attractive. We stand to make 70% gross margin, as well as a payback period of 1 year for the target facility. Now, the models that we sell with could be capital, as well as they could also be a subscription type model. We've teamed up with Novanta and MassRobotics to boost our product efficiency that can allow us to hit some of the new targets in the product roadmap. What that's resulted in is we're FDA registered. We stand to book $2 million in this year, and we've already booked $1 million of that. And for next year, we're projecting a $10 million in bookings. We've gotten here with a really experienced team. Myself and my CTO have over a decade of experience in robotics, supply chains, and are experienced entrepreneurs. And we've assembled a great team of 20 full-time employees and have raised over $3.5 million to date. I'm here today to tell you about our upcoming ambitions. We're raising a seed extension round to meet the dire market needs that is there for our technology. We're also looking for introductions with innovative healthcare facilities and have engaged the MassRobotics Medical Advisory Board. And we're looking at upstream and downstream strategic partnerships that can allow us to achieve and tap into the potential. Thank you for your time, and I invite you to join us on our journey to help improve the quality of lives of millions.
So we will be reaching out to everybody that's present here and also our working group and our network, let you know how to get in touch with our entrepreneurs, but also a brief summary and a brief summary of both their technologies and their asks.
3 years ago, my aunt, who's an operating room nurse, she told me that every day she's got the wrong instruments delivered to her operating room. And knowing that I worked at Georgia Tech as a research faculty member, she asked me if I could build a robot that assembles the right instruments for a surgery and could deliver them to the hospital in a surgical case cart. And this is 3 years ago during dark days of the pandemic. I had no idea even what a surgical case cart was. I was working in my basement, so we went on YouTube and learned all about sterile processing. And through multiple levels of networking, we were able to find an innovation group at the Veterans Affairs hospital system that granted us access to 4 of their hospitals where we did deep customer discovery and learned a great deal about sterile processing. We learned that hospitals are struggling to reprocess surgical instruments that are vital to the revenue stream of private hospitals. In fact, many hospitals can't even operate at full capacity because they don't have a good means of reprocessing all their instruments due to labor shortages and the high skill level required and training required in order to get technicians to do this job properly. And because we ask humans to look at thousands of instruments a day, look for leftover bioburden and bone, look for defects in the instruments, it causes a lot of mistakes that lead to real economic impacts as well as health impacts to patients. You know, because instrument trays are assembled incorrectly, you have operating room delays, which is significant cost, and even results in patient infections, and also maybe even patients being under anesthesia longer than they need to be when instruments are looked for. And so while some of those top-down numbers are very large and could even be intangible and it's difficult for hospitals to track, there's a very real labor component that they're tracking as well. So it costs about $163 to assemble all the instruments for every surgery. And with the 51 million surgeries performed just in the US, the labor cost to actually assemble trays is about $8 billion. And many of the local hospitals that we've surveyed in Atlanta, they spend around $1.6 million a year in just the labor for just tray assembly. That doesn't even count the sterilization costs and the cleaning costs. So our approach to this is to use robotics and computer vision in order to identify instruments, inspect them for leftover bioburden, and manipulate them so that they can be inspected properly and look at the tips of instruments, which can be tough to see from just a top-down camera. But we've collected our own data set and trained our own neural networks to identify these different instruments and be able to localize them on a table that our robotic system can use in order to manipulate them and pick them up. And we've designed, you know, while we're using mostly off-the-shelf robotic hardware and robotic work cells, we've got a couple patents pending on the actual gripper tip required in order to pick up specialized equipment. Our business model is initially going to be a robots as a service model. We know this is a new innovative product, and we want to lower the barrier to entry for hospitals to start using this. In addition, we're collecting a new data source that is going to allow hospitals and medical device manufacturers to understand the state of equipment when it's in hospitals. Our team is three technical co-founders with over 40 years of experience in developing robotics and consumer goods. I met one of my co-founders, Sergio, and we're both doing robotics PhDs at Georgia Tech. And my third co-founder is an industrial designer from Virginia Tech who's designed consumer and mechanical products for almost over 20 years. Our next steps are we're integrating a Mitsubishi RV8 into our system to increase the robustness of our system. We're going to the Robotics Summit Expo, and we're doing our next phase of a pilot study with our strategic partner investor, Wellstar Hospital. Our asks are we're looking for additional paid pilot studies after we complete this one in the spring, and we're raising additional money in 2024 to scale up operations so we can start delivering to more hospitals. So please reach out to me at riffrobotics.com or through this. I'd love to chat more. Thanks.
Well done, Kevin. Thank you so much.
So hello, everyone. My name is Manuel Sánchez, and I am the founder and chairman of Healthic. What do we do at Healthic? As you may know, in order to have a safe surgery, we need to have sterile instruments, both either single-use or reusable instruments. And as my colleagues just mentioned from REEV Robotics, there is a big challenge in terms of how do we manage this process of sterilization, not only on the single-use, which most of you may be familiar, but that as well as the reusable instruments that hospitals use for surgeries. As you may know as well, FDA has a very clear regulation on single-use devices, and it's a very complex and expensive process that requires clean rooms and many different infrastructures in order to make this process safe for the patients and the surgeries. So what problem do we have here? The problem is that we have a very low regulation and a very expensive process for reprocessing, meaning washing, packing, and sterilizing reusable instruments, and it's a very big operational burden for hospitals, not only in the US, but at a global level. In this sense, what we build is a solution to fix this situation that you see in this picture, which is a situation that happens all over the world. And what we build, it's a fully integrated solution that integrates not only all the required infrastructure, personnel, software, and peripheral equipment to do this sterilization process in a safe way, but we certified as a medical device manufacturing company. That means that we can do in a safe way the processes that currently the hospitals are doing in-house, both either as an outsourcing in-house process or a completely outsourced procedure. In turn, bringing that we can reduce cost up to 20 to 15% to the hospitals, and most importantly, reduce the risk of contaminated instruments in surgeries. To do so, we are certified as ISO 13485 medical device manufacturer, and most importantly, 14937 as a company, as a industrial sterilization facility. So basically, we are industrializing the process of sterilization of reusable instruments, which is currently managed by hospitals in a very poor way. And in order to do this, we are now working with REEV Robotics and with the help of MassRobotics to develop a process to automate many of the parts of the manual work that our team do in this operational situation. We're starting to explore with REEV Robotics, how do we integrate to our operations, particularly the assembly of the trays, and eventually evolve to other areas of the operations that we have. In order to do this as well, we have the challenge of how do we integrate not only our operations with the automation and robotics, but as well with the traceability softwares that are on the market that allows to have a control on the whole process. We have secured, next one, please. We have secured already around 4 million funding from Steris, which is the main player in the world for sterilization equipment, consumables, and products. And finally, we have been, I just wanted to show that we have already had traction, next one, please, with companies like Johnson & Johnson, Intuitive Surgical, Medtronic, and Medartis, who are medical device manufacturers that own surgical instruments that are moved around metropolitan areas that needs to be washed and sterilized. So finally, we want to share we're a very experienced team that we have been working in this field for more than 15 years, integrating different solutions for this particular problem. Our ask is very simple. We have, first, we need advising on how do we integrate robotics and automations with a current operating manufacturing facility. Number two, a regulatory strategy on how the robotics and automation will be regulated in the US for this particular action. Is this a medical device or not, which is a very complex question. And finally, we are securing our round of investment of $2 million to finalize some of the latest break-even processes and integration of software that we're working on. Thank you very much, and happy to be in contact with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Manuel. Congratulations.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan James, the CEO of dopl Technologies, where we're improving access to care through a telerobotic ultrasound system. Rural areas have a higher mortality rate than urban areas, affecting nearly 18% of the US population. This problem is so bad that if you live in a rural area, you are more likely to die prematurely from all top 10 causes of death. One of the main reasons is that specialists who diagnose and treat diseases are concentrated in urban areas, forcing rural patients to travel long distances, get care late, or not get care at all. dopl's solution is a 3-part telerobotic ultrasound system consisting of an ultrasound robot connected to a remote controller that enables specialists to perform ultrasound procedures on patients in a different location to diagnose a wide range of diseases. Expected benefits include increased patient access to diagnostic care, improved patient outcomes, and increased revenue and decreased costs for hospitals. And did you know that ultrasounds are not just for babies? From cardiac to cancer, they're used to diagnose a whole host of diseases, which is why the market is $45 billion and growing, and our target telerobotic market is a growing subset, and we have a strategy to capture 20%. Since I have limited time, I'll focus on Ecotech in the lower right. They're the only telerobotic ultrasound system with FDA clearance. However, they have not done business in the US, instead focusing on international markets, leaving dopl a massive market opportunity. Next slide, please. Our business model is B2B SaaS. We charge hospitals an installation fee, collect a per procedure fee, and our anticipated gross margin is 90%. We're starting with traditional in-person procedures in 4 hospitals. Following FDA clearance, we'll convert our customers from in-person to telerobotic procedures, target the other 20 hospitals in their network, and another 100 along the West Coast before we move east. In addition to exit opportunities closer to FDA clearance, we expect opportunities with large ultrasound manufacturers such as Siemens, who bought Corindus, a medical robotics company, for $1.1 billion after they demonstrated remote capabilities. We're Techstars alum with a utility patent pending. We've started performing in-person procedures with 3 out of 4 of our launch customers, and we're planning to start the 4th soon. We've built a functional prototype of our telerobotic system and tested it in a hospital and with the sonographer. We've signed the only regulatory consultants in the nation who have taken a telerobotic ultrasound system through the FDA, and we were recently accepted into CTIP, an FDA accelerator. Next slide, please. My co-founders and I are passionate about improving access to healthcare. My background's in tech development. I worked at Microsoft before getting my PhD in health informatics, and my co-founders are both Harvard-trained specialists who understand the problem we're solving firsthand. Next slide, please. And we're complemented by stellar advisors. Here's how we approach 20% market share. Key inflection points include FDA clearance, servicing our first hospital network, and scaling nationally. In 2030, we expect to be in 650 hospitals performing over 220,000 procedures, and MassRobotics is helping us get there. We're excited to integrate the Mitsubishi cobot into our system, to demonstrate the power of our platform and refine our threat model with MITRE cybersecurity experts. For the investors in the audience, we're opening our seed round in Q2. If you're interested, you can reach me at this email. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ryan. Folks, this brings us full circle to the end of our presentations from our startups. I hope you all feel as inspired as I do about the future of healthcare robotics. But before we wrap up, I want to express our gratitude to each startup by sharing their groundbreaking work with us. Also want a big thank you to from MassRobotics to our partners, FESTO, Mitsubishi Electric, Novanta, and MITRE. And of course, to all of you joining us virtually. Your enthusiasm through these emojis and your engagement makes events like these truly special. Remember, the journey doesn't end here. Stay connected with us, MassRobotics, and also our healthcare robotics ecosystem. We will have more exciting events and opportunities in the horizon. As mentioned in some of the presentations, don't forget to mark your calendars for the Robotics Summit and Expo in Boston, May 1st and 2nd, where our startups will be showcasing their innovations. And remember that if you have any further questions or want to explore collaborations or just want to share your thoughts or feel any sort of connections, feel free to reach out to us. Your support is crucial for propelling these startups to new heights. Thank you again.